Guys, welcome back to another Polygel set by yours truly. It's like, no, but this little set here was time consuming, but I absolutely love it. This is like something that I love to do, but we're going to get into it, starting out with my prep routine, which pretty much is the same throughout all my sets. I'm just pushing my cuticles back with a metal cuticle pusher. And then I'm taking my e-file on one and just filing around the cuticles, just trying to remove any old product or protein or skin buildup, whatever it is that may be up underneath of them. I'm just going to go around them with that. Not a whole lot to it. I do not show it in here, but I do go and wash my hands after my prep. Now for the products, we have quite a few different polygels. If you haven't checked out my previous video, I did do swatches on the majority of them, but I will explain them as I go. Here's the colors. I did want to include in this video my lamp. It's 180 watt. I got it from Amazon. I will put the link in the description. Okay, so now my foam application, which I say this in every video. I just measure it out. Then after getting a good idea of my line being centered, I take and clip the sides so I can create a C-curve underneath of my natural nail. And then I just pinch it on the sides to make sure it's nice and tight and secure. Alright, so I'm going to go in with a peel-off base coat. I've been using this one lately. Love it. The Macart one, I've been having a hard time removing it. Okay, so my nail was broke here, so I'm just going to take a little bit of the base coat and just kind of fill in that little piece, mainly because I do not want the polygel to seek underneath of my natural nail, because they do grow upwards, and so sometimes they may be like a little hair, an inch of a gap, and polygel do get under it. Then I have to clip my nails off. But I'm going to cure that for 60 seconds. Now for the application. This one, I believe it's called Ashiba. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but I did use this polygel quite a few times, well, this brand at least. But real quick, I'll get back to that. But I already recorded the ring finger for like reels and shorts, and so when I went back and looked at the footage, it was just like out of focus a lot. So that was the reason why we're just going to start out with the middle finger and then do the other fingers. But yeah, I used this polygel before. I don't have a problem with it. It's soft, but not too soft where you can't use it. They have pretty colors, nice little selections now. But I'm just trying to take the polygel with a small bead. This was to be glam, all that. But I'm just taking the polygel, going up against the cuticle, down the sides, making sure it's extremely thin. I don't want no ledges, and I also do not want it to seep underneath. So I do take a lot of time around my cuticle areas. But this polygel was, it was solid. It was pretty firm. It was like jelly. But I'm just trying to create a bunch of squares and rectangles. I did notice afterwards that some of my lines wasn't very straight, so the next time I do this, I will pay a little bit more attention to making sure my lines are straight. Okay, so now we're just going to jump into the baby finger. This also was from To Be Glam. This was the color Wink. Very pretty color, but super firm. Like, this polygel was really hard to move. But me personally, I prefer a stiff polygel. It gives me more time to work. I don't really have to worry about it flattening the cuticles and stuff. But originally I did not want to do an extended nail bed, but I did squeeze out too much polygel, so I kind of went with the flow. But it was so thick and solid that I didn't want to wipe it off because I didn't want to risk my forms moving or shifting. So we just went ahead and made that an extended nail bed. And then I cured it for 30 seconds because each time I do a color, it get cure time. So I don't do full cures. I just do quick little cures. But same process with the pointer finger. Now I could have cured both of them at the same time. I really don't have a reason to say why I didn't. I really could have, but honestly, I didn't think the baby finger was going to make it into the video. I thought it was going to kind of be out of focus. But yeah, anyway, so we're just going in with the same process, an extended nail bed, and then we will go back to the, I'm calling this set brick by brick. So we'll go back into the bricklaying after I give this a quick 30-second cure. I'm just trying to make sure it come to a nice little point. And always before I cure, I double check my cuticles. Although I didn't have any issue with that flooding, I just always like to make sure. Now this, it looks orange on the bottle, but it's like a neon red from model 1, one of their previous kits that I done. The color is absolutely gorgeous. Love the color. I'm a big neon fan. But it was a little more on the runny side compared to the other polygels that I was using. But because it was such a small bead, it wasn't that big of a deal. But I don't have a pattern in mind. I'm just trying to make some squares and rectangles. Now, I'm not sure what happened to the recording of the purple, but as you can see, this is just the same process all the way through. I'm squeezing a bead on, making sure it is connected to the previous color, and then squaring it off. Now, with this one, this pink here was Charm. Very, very pretty color, and definitely will be using this color again in another set where this color is the main focus. But again, with this, at least this kit, because I have another one of their kits and it's a little more loose and runny. But for this kit, it was very firm. And I was just trying to push it around that little reddish orange color so I can kind of like get a little rectangle going in there. But again, it was very firm, very, very hard. But I enjoy firm polygels. Now, this red here, the bottles, the reason I bought them because the bottles were so big, super pretty. Unfortunately, they don't fit on my shelf, but I do like the bottles. Now, this polygel, and I do have it in nude red, and I went back and got the clear and pink for you guys to watch my previous video. But this red reminds me of jelly, like jam. So it's like when you put it on the bread, you first get working with it, and then once you actually get it moving, it's like real easy to spread. That's what this remind me of. Like, it wasn't hard to use at all. It wasn't real lumpy or anything. It did exactly what you needed it to do. You could do at least all 4 of your fingers with no issue. And don't have to worry about it like moving all over the place. It was very, very nice, and that's what made me go back and get 2 of the other colors. But here we're just going to do a just bringing it down to complete the shape of the nail, squaring off my ends so I can actually see what the nail going to look like. I'm not good at sculpting any shaped nails other than squares, so I kind of just always sculpt them out as squares. Taking that same red, which is very pretty. It's not it's just like a jelly. So it's not translucent, like you can't see through it. It's just like strawberry jam. Like, that's the best I can kind of explain it. But it's definitely worth the money. It was like $6.99. If you're looking for some polygel to get, I definitely would recommend these. Only thing is, they are huge tubes, and so unless you plan on doing a lot of sets with them, I wouldn't get them. But if you do plan on doing a lot of sets, I would. If you don't, I wouldn't. All right, so we're going back in with Wink and just pretty much repeating the process. So all I'm doing is taking every color that I have and just starting with one color and going all the way down. And once I use all the colors, I'll repeat the colors and then just making them into squares. But let me tell y'all something, right? That ring finger alone took me 28 minutes, and that was just doing application. So these little sets that I do, they are very time consuming, but me personally, I absolutely love it. It's something about that before and after for me, and that's why I do it. But if you like have clients, or you don't have the time or the patience, or you don't like to file, I don't recommend them. I just suggest you just go ahead and use polish or something. But this is what I do. This is what I love. I am a polygel user. And so my sets will always be time consuming, but I love them. But yeah, so just always know that nails take practice, time, practice, and patience. And so just keep working at it. Don't give up. You can do it. And then just know that when you're doing your sets, each step needs the previous step or the following step. And so, because I get asked a lot how to keep your nails from popping off, just know and your prep needs to work well with your application, and your application needs to work well with your filing. Your filing needs to work well with your finishing touches. So just learn all you can learn, apply all you can apply, and don't just only focus on that one step. Try to get them all to go in with each other. But let's see, what color are we at? We are at the orange color again. Well, the red color. Again, the Model 1's one. I actually used two Model 1's. This orange and one of the purple ones was Model 1's. Again, they was a little runny compared to the others, but no big deal. You can work with it. But we just trying to get them little squares. Again, like I said, I noticed afterwards the squares wasn't all that straight. We'll improve on that on the next time. But after I do give all of them a quick cure, if I didn't say that before. So with these squares, I'm only curing them for about 5 seconds, maybe 6, something like that, and then go on to the next. I actually repeated a purple color, was the same color that was right next to the other one. And so I'm just wiping it off, and then I'll go with the right color. With my sets, I try to draw them out in my little notes section of my phone or whatnot. But for the most part, I don't have a reference photo. And so I kind of go with the flow. And I do tend to have the white polygel off a set often because I mess up a lot. But anyway, so I'm just kind of rambling on at this point. We're just going to finish this nail up with the red. At this point, after all of the squares are in there, I'm just going to, even it out, make sure, I'm sorry, y'all, I lost my train of thought. But I'm just trying to even it out to make it look like a nail at this point. And then after this color, I think I did it. Okay, so that's what I did. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the pinky with the same color. The only reason I didn't do this one when I did the pointer finger, again, because you can do all of them at once and then cure it. But originally my plan was to do the pinky purple instead of the red. But as I got to the end, I was like, I'm just go ahead and make them the same. Because originally it was just going to be 2 different colors. And that was the reason why I didn't do them together. But you definitely can do them all together. This red was very nice. It was very nice to work with, and I definitely recommend it. Okay, now I usually do not record my thumbs. Let me start with saying my thumb is my favorite nail to do. It is the quickest. The thumb took me about 10 minutes to do, and that was including putting that foam on it in the base coat. But I get asked a lot, why is my thumb shorter than the rest of the nails? And I just always assumed that it was an obvious reason. Like, you may not know what I do in my day-to-day life, but I always just assumed it was obvious. But apparently not, because I get asked a lot. And so one of the reasons my thumb is shorter is because it helps me out in everyday life. So opening canned sodas, rolling my car window up and down, picking up stuff, having a short thumb makes life easy for me. Of course, no nails makes the whole process real simple, but having a short thumb allowed me to do things that's a little more difficult to do if the thumb was long. That's the first reason. Second reason is because I'm doing longer nails. I still want to practice a short nail so I can, still know how to do that. Plus, third is because I want to be able to show that whatever design I do on a long nail, it can be done on a short nail. Granted, something may be a little different, a color may be missing or something like that, but for the most part, the same design that you can do on a long nail, it can be done on a short nail. So those are my reasons for doing my thumb short. It helps me out everyday life. I get to keep practicing. Plus, I can do the same designs on the ring finger that I can do on the thumb. But yeah, so we're just gonna finish out that thumb. Again, the thumb is like my favorite, maybe because it's so big and wide. It's like a big canvas, but it always go by fairly quickly. But during this process, usually when I'm doing my little quick cures, I do like to start cleaning up. So once they go in the lamp, I try to put the tops back on my polygels, and then I think I don't even have that in here, but I like to just try to clean up while I am doing that thumb, so that way I don't have a lot to do afterwards. But yes, so we're just gonna go in and use, and then the only thing that I did, or let me back up. So the design that I'm doing on my thumb is the design that I wanted to do on the pinky and the pointer finger. It's just once I squeezed that big B out on the pointer finger, that little design just kind of went out of my head. But you can see that for the most part, the design is the same. The only difference is one of the purples, which is two of the purples with two different brands, but the colors were very similar to each other. And so I did not use the second purple. But for the most part, it had all the same colors as the other fingers do. And at this point, I'm just trying to do my sides, make sure it's wide enough, making sure my side walls here are just as wide as my natural side walls. And I do that with both colors. Again, guys, let me say this. I love a good, firm, strong polygel. If you don't, maybe this kit is not for you. But if you like a good solid one, this little kit was perfect. It was, I believe it was like $15 or $16. All of the colors in the, except for one of the glitters I didn't really care for. But all of the colors was pretty. They'd be great for like Valentine's Day and stuff. But I do recommend that kit. Alright, now we're just going to go ahead and remove all of the forms. They were a little uncured underneath, a little sticky. And so, I'm sorry, not sticky, but uncured. And so I'm just trying to take my brush and push the colors back into this space. Me personally, I like to have the underside of my nails look just as decent as the top surface of the nail. So me smoothing out that underside is just important as what I do on the top side. But the red was a little bit uncured, but not really. The red was the star of the show for this set, and I think that was the reason why I went ahead and did those two extended nail bed Frenchies, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so after I cure the underside, wipe the nail off with some alcohol or whichever slip you're using. Be sure to remove the sticky layer from the top and the underside. If you do not, the nail will be sticky and you will think that the nail is uncured. And plus, if you don't clean that stickiness off, it kind of gulks up your bits and your hand files. So just wipe it off. Here is the finished product, a hot mess, but we're going to fix it. So it's time to file and shape it. I absolutely love this file. At this point, the nail was way too thick to actually shape it. And so I'm just trying to clean it up a little bit so I can remove any little pieces that was like hanging and little sharp pieces that you get afterwards. So I'm just trying to clean up a little bit. Okay, now this bit is a 2-time coarse bit. It don't have a ring on it, but it's the orange ring. This little bit here, at first I didn't care to use it because I bought it because I thought the stem or the shank was long, and it wasn't. But this little bit here, it was like doing its thing. Like you can see all that little dust is coming off with no problem. That bit was cutting through that product. It was just nice. It was really nice. And so if you guys are looking for a 2-time course, which is the orange ring e-file, or I'm sorry, if you're looking for a 2-time course orange ring bit, I definitely suggest this one. I will put the description in the put the link in the description. Only thing is, I got it from AliExpress, and so it may take a little while, but it's definitely worth it. But yeah, it was just cutting through. It was really nice. I just wish the shank or the stem was longer for longer nails, but it was cutting through that stuff. But I only used this bit on the middle finger and the ring finger and the thumb. I did not use it on the other two fingers because they just wasn't as thick and bulky as the other ones. But can y'all see all that dust? Like, this little bit was powerful. It was super sharp. But if you guys are not ready for those type of bits, you can still use the ceramic bit. It worked just as fine. Now here, this is how I shorten my nails. For any of you guys who do not know, my nail beds are different lengths, and so I have to scope them down to different lengths just so I can file them back and make them all even. But this is just how I remove some of the length. I put my nail on the sink, and then I just use that hand file and go up and down. I did wash my hands at this point, which I usually take a little break in between, wash my hands, then I'll come back to it. And so that is what I'm doing here. I'm just taking my 5-in-1 extra fine bit and just lightly going around the cuticles. Most likely this is on maybe a 1 or 2 speed. It seems quick and fast, but I'm really going around this really slow. I do not want to cut myself or my cuticles up, so I'm doing it really slow. After I do that, I go in with my fine comb bit. I have been using this in every video. I love this bit. I have like 3 or 4 of them. But I'm taking this fine bit and just evening out the nails. So any dips or lumps that the orange bit, well, the 2-time coarse bit created, this bit here is just removing that, just smoothing it out, just, you know, so it can start looking like a nail. These are my favorite bits too. Then we go in with a wood thin file, and I'm just filing in between the nail and my side walls, so the nail and the skin. And after I do that on all the nails, I take my green one and focus on the shaping. So just trying to get them as straight as possible, cleaning up the tips to make sure everything is nice and crisp. And then I go in with this was a 240 hand file, and just file over the nail, making sure you can see one side scratches, the other don't. And this is me finishing filing, so this is just to make sure that the nail is nice and smooth and it looks as pretty as I can get it to just look like a nail. And so I go around the cuticles, down the side, and then through the whole body of the nail, making sure I don't see any shiny areas. And then I just kind of go over the little shaping again. I feel like I can never do the shaping part too much. The more I do it, the better it looks. And there is the nail. Just clean up the underside, making sure nothing is hanging down. All right, now for the accessories. So I'm taking some protein bond and going around the cuticles. My reason for it is, one, Greg said I can, but mainly because I don't like how ashy the cuticle look once I wash my hands. So I kind of put that protein bond on it so it just don't look so crusty. Then we're going to go in with the Vanillisa top coat. Absolutely favorite. If you haven't tried it, I definitely recommend it. But we're just going to do a thin layer over the whole nail, cleaning up any that has spilled on the sides, wiping off all of the extra on a lint-free wipe. And then these little chains I got from AliExpress. I did not show that part, but I did pre-measure them and then just cut them with some scissors. They was real easy to cut. And then I laid it onto the finger. And I did pre-cut the ring finger one also. Because I did so much work, I did not want to put like a lot of accessories or rhinestones or anything on top of these fingers. And so I just kept it simple and just went ahead and used the chains. Again, just a thin layer of top coat, wiping off all the extra. And then, okay, all right, making sure it's nice and even. And then add the chain to it. And then I'm just going to try to make it as even as I can. Just trying to make sure it is lined up directly down the center of the nail. Now, I did do that for this nail, which looking back, I should have made sure it was straight on the ring finger too, because after I took the photos, I could see some little areas that wasn't really straight. But this set did what it needed to do. Okay, so after I did that, we went ahead and cured those for 30 seconds, both nails for 30 seconds. Well, they cured at the same time. So, all right. And so I just was trying to play around with what I had out, which was just some rhinestones and the butterflies. And at this point, I'm just trying to see what do I like. I usually start with the biggest one and then add little ones. And I came to the decision or to the conclusion to just use the butterflies. The rhinestones was not needed. And so same process, taking some top coat, and then I'm sorry y'all, I don't know if y'all can hear it, but my kids are out in the hallway banging, and so it'd be distracting me. But anyway, I'm just going to take that top coat, swipe it onto the nails, even thin coat, making sure I don't have like no fuzzies or lints in it, and then just put the little butterflies on there, kind of play with them and see how I like it. And I decided to, because originally I wanted to slant them, but then at that point I just decided to go ahead and keep them straight. And so that was that, cured it. Same thing with the thumb, just adding that little top coat on there. My little daughter, she always in my nail room with me. And so anyway, that's a whole story in itself, but that's my little baby. But yeah, just cleaning it up, threw a little butterfly on there. Now, as I'm doing this recording, the only butterfly I lost is the butterfly on the thumb. And again, because my thumb is so short, I use it a lot more than I use the other fingers. And so if you heavy or hard on your nails, I definitely recommend using like a some sort of gel. So some polygel or rhinestone glue or rhinestone gel, whatever they want to call it. I definitely suggest that. But here is the final set. Absolutely love it. Here is the before. Here is the after. It's always something about that before and after for me. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for your love and support. Hope you guys leave me some love and show me some support in the comment section. See you guys in the next one.